Today we're talking about movies and how they work structurally. So if you're interested in how movies work, this one's for you. And I'm also folding in a couple of bonus tips, one about helping you craft or create your story, and one about helping you create your logline. But both of those things are dependent upon the structural broad strokes that we're going to talk about today. Thank you for liking, for subscribing. I really do appreciate it, and it helps keep you up to date and notified when I release new content about story and storytelling. So thank you for doing that. Let's jump in. Movies, at their core, are simple stories. And if you've seen other videos on this channel, you've probably heard me use this definition about a story. That a story is simply about someone who wants something badly and is having trouble getting it. And they get it or they don't. And that's really what all movies boil down to. That's what they're at as their core. Let me give you a few examples. Will Steve Rogers stop Hydra from conquering the world? Or will he fail? Will Maximus fulfill the dying wish of Marcus Aurelius and return the rule of Rome to the people? Or will he die in the gladiator arena? Will Harry Stamper drill an 800-foot hole in an asteroid and blow it up? Or will the Earth be destroyed by that asteroid? Will William Money return to his life of drinking and killing? Or will innocent people continue to suffer at the hands of an evil lawman? Will the Hallmark Christmas movie heroine fall in love with the local carpenter when she returns home? Or will she stay lonely forever? And we could go on and on. Movies at their core are very simple. The problem is we start thinking that the stories of movies are actually more complicated than they really are. But we need to keep in mind that there's a difference between complicated and complex. Movies can be very complex. They can have a lot of layers going on, but at their core, they're very, very simple. Someone who wants something badly, who's having trouble getting it, and they get it or they don't. So let's break down the basic structure of movies, and for that, we're going to go back to Aristotle. Aristotle's definition of a story was this: a sequence of events with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if we're talking about movie structure, simply what we're talking about is Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. A beginning, a middle, and an end. So let's talk about what the pieces are of each of those, and then we're also going to talk about the glue that kind of holds them together. Act 1. This is the beginning of the story. This is where we are introduced to the character's predicament. So if you're talking about story itself, and that's what we're talking about here, and on this channel I'll talk a lot about the difference between story and storytelling. We're talking about story in this video. So we're talking about the story itself and what makes it work and what doesn't. So if we're talking about Act 1 in the story, this is where the character is first introduced to their predicament. We see them going about their normal life, whatever their normal life is, something comes and invades, and then they have to decide, okay, am I gonna go on this adventure? I'm gonna try to avoid the adventure of whatever it is, right? A new job, dating somebody, moving to a new place, finding the lost treasure, recovering someone who's been kidnapped, getting revenge, doesn't matter, okay? All those things in Act 1, we find out here's what's going on, and then we get to see whether the character is going to choose to engage in the story or not. One of the things with Act 1 that we have to notice and realize is that for the screenwriter, this is where the screenwriter gets to be the most creative. This is the most fun part, almost, of any story. If you talk to any screenwriter, they love writing Act 1. Why? Well, because it's setting things up. I'm getting to lay things in. I'm able to be creative about how I introduce things and how I introduce characters and what the world is. I'm getting to describe the world that I see in my head, and it's all very exciting and very fun, and I get to be really creative. It's lots of fun. So you have a lot of people that start writing a screenplay and they get 15, 20 pages in and then they stop. Why? Well, because those 15, 20 pages, the first ones are super creative. They're super fun. And then we get to the hard work. The hard work is Act 2. Act 2 is where the character goes through the predicament. So we have our someone who's wanting something badly, but they're having trouble getting it. That's Act 2. So Act 1, we find out, ooh, what is it they want? And then they are going after the thing they want. Now we get to decide, are they going to get it or not? And all the trouble they go through to get that thing or to not get that thing. This, for the screenwriter, is the hard work. Most writers get stuck in Act 2. And we're going to talk about some of the glue that helps hold Act 2 together, and maybe that will help you get a little unstuck. So Act 2 is where the character goes through and we find out, are they going to get the thing or not? Act 3 is the end of the story. This is where our resolution comes in. Typically in Act 3, we test the main character to see, have they really learned the thing that they needed to learn in Act 2? Have they grown as a character? Have they become something that they didn't know they could have been at the beginning of the story? Those are fun and exciting things. But the thing for Act 3, and Act 3 is often the second most favorite part for any screenwriter, because this is where the screenwriter and folding things into the story, where you get to be a little philosophical. This is where you kind of get to talk about why the story is going on. The characters having realizations, they're learning things, they're able to articulate things in a way that they have learned that they wouldn't have been able to articulate early in the story. And so for a screenwriter, we like writing Act 1 because that's really creative. We second next writing Act 2 because that's the philosophical, that's the thinking part, right? That's the, why are we telling the story? Why did I get involved in the story to begin with? I'm going to tell you in Act 3. But Act 2, that's the hard-working part. So we have a beginning, Act 1, a middle, and an end. But we need to talk about the glue. The glue is what holds everything together. It's what makes the story work. It's what also helps you as a screenwriter, if you're trying to write a movie or a short film or whatever it is, stay on track for that hard part of Act 2, the hard work. What is that glue? Well, the glue is referred to by several names, but the one that I like to use is main tension. It's probably the more common of the phrases that get used. And the reason I like it is because it helps pull in this element that the character that's going through this thing, someone who wants something badly and is having trouble getting it, and they get it or they don't, that's the tension that's being created through this glue that's holding Act 2 together and ultimately holding your story together. So the main tension is introduced in Act 1, it's played out in Act 2, and then in Act 3, we see what did the character learn from their whole ordeal. So what is really the main tension? The easiest way to articulate it is to state it as a question. Will blank do blank, or will blank happen? That's the easiest way to state it, using a question that starts with the word will. Will this person do this, or will the other thing happen? That's the main tension. The whole second act is about that thing. The characters are making choices to do the thing, and then they find out, was that a good choice or a bad choice, and their struggle along the way. So to talk about main tension specifically, I'm going to use Armageddon as an example. If you haven't seen it, it's a great, fun film. Some people are like, I don't like popcorn movies, I don't like those big summer blockbusters, but the thing about Armageddon is it kind of kickstarted the whole summer blockbuster popcorn movie, and there's so many great things structurally in Armageddon, so I'm going to use that as an example. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, it came out in 1998, so you've had time to watch it, so I might be ruining it a little bit for you, but it's still great fun. It's a good, Friday night movie to watch, so if you want to go watch one, watch that. No, I don't get any royalties from it. Here's the main tension of Armageddon. Will Harry Stamper, the character played by Bruce Willis, will Harry Stamper drill a hole 800 feet, or will the asteroid destroy the Earth? Ultimately, they're trying to blow up the asteroid from the inside. They're trying to set off a nuclear bomb inside the middle of the asteroid to blow it up. That's really the whole second act. Will they do that? Now, the second act has a lot of pieces in Armageddon. First, will these drillers be cleared by NASA? So they have to go through and pass some tests. Then will these oil drillers, will they learn how to be astronauts and to do all their stuff? So they're doing some training, they're learning to work together. How are they going to do things? Then will we get the oil drillers onto this asteroid? And there's a whole big thing about just getting and landing on the asteroid. Then once we're on the asteroid, now we got to start drilling a hole. Well, and then we have all kinds of problems with communication and all sorts of things. And I don't even know if we're going to get the hole dug or not. And we're drilling and we're drilling. And finally, thank goodness, we hit 800 feet. Yay, everybody's cheering. End of the second act. That's what's holding that whole movie together. Okay? There's constantly this whole question of, will they drill a hole to 800 feet or not? If they don't, the asteroid's going to hit Earth. Earth is going to be blown up or whatever, decimated. So that is their plan. We want to drill to 800 feet, and that's what holds the whole second act together. Everything in the second act is working toward that one thing. So the main tension is what's holding all of the pieces of the second act together. All the stuff that happens in the second act is related to that. Okay, so will they pass the tests? Will they learn to be astronauts? Will we get them up on the asteroid? Will we be able to drill a hole? All those things start falling into place for them to be able to drill a hole to 800 feet. That's the main tension. That's what's holding it together. So we have Act 1, and we get introduced to the problem. Okay, we find out about the asteroid. NASA's trying to come up with a solution. What are we going to do? Oh, let's send people up and drill a hole. Okay, that'll work. And then we find out all kinds of things, and Harry Stamper agrees to take his team up there to go. Okay, that's Act 1. Act 2, will they get the hole dug? Okay, yes, they get it dug. Now Act 3, they've got the hole dug. Now they got to get the nuke in there and take off. So they got to blow it up just in time so that the asteroid misses Earth. That is a very clean structure of a movie. Okay, we have a beginning, we find out what's going on. We have the middle, will they get the hole dug? Then Act 3, now what happens as a result? Are they going to be able to blow up the asteroid? Yes, they blow up the asteroid. Whew, all done, all good. Let me use another example here, this one from a more recent film that most of you, I'm guessing, have seen, which is Avengers Infinity War. Act 1 is simply, will the Avengers learn of Thanos' plan to gather the Infinity Stones? They do learn, and they decide we're going to try to stop him. Act 2, the main tension of Act 2 is this. Will Thanos get all the Infinity Stones or not? It's simply that. Will he be able to get all the Infinity Stones, or will the Avengers stop him? That's Act 2. All of Act 2 is playing into that. So we're trying to get this stone, then this one, then this one, then this one. We've got them all. Act 3 in Infinity War is actually very short. Act 3 is literally the time when Thanos gets all the stones to the time he snaps his fingers. That's it. He snaps his fingers, that's Act 3, and then the movie ends, right? It's got a very short Act 3, but what's holding the whole movie together? Will Thanos get the Infinity Stones, or will the Avengers stop him? That's it. That's the whole movie. It's very simple. It seems like it's very complex. When you go back, if you go back and watch Infinity War, it seems like there's a whole bunch of things going on. We've got characters in different places, we're on different planets, all kinds of stuff going on. It's very complex, but it's not complicated. It's very, very simple. And stories are simple. So think of it, someone who wants something badly is having trouble getting it. They get it or they don't. Okay, I promised you 2 bonus tips, so here we go. Here's a bonus tip about creating and crafting your story. If you're having trouble in Act 2, more than likely it's because your main tension, your glue, has not been clearly articulated. You are not quite able to boil it down to a simple question. Will blank do blank, or will blank happen? Right? Someone wants something badly, they're having trouble getting it, they get it or they don't. What is the thing that your character is trying to get? And you need to have an answer. Do they get it or not? That's really what the story's about. It's simple. Boil it down and make it simple. Don't make it complicated. It's just a simple story. So think about it simply. And if you're having trouble with Act 2 and you're getting bogged down in Act 2, you probably don't have a clearly articulated will blank do blank, or will this happen? Okay, so if you're getting stuck, if you're having trouble, try to articulate and craft a really clear and succinct main tension question. The glue. Will something blah, blah, blah. Okay? Second thing, if you've got a completed story and you're struggling with trying to create a log line, okay, a log line is something used to help pitch your story or communicate it to other people. It's just kind of like a 1 or 2 sentence, very short summary. If you're having trouble doing that, the main tension is what helps you craft it. The main tension is the essence of your log line. When a planet-killing asteroid is detected by NASA, will a group of oil drillers partnering with NASA astronauts be able to blow it up, or will it destroy the Earth? Or what about this one? When the Avengers learn of a plot to kill half of the universe's population, will the Avengers be able to stop the ruthless titan, Thanos. Are those great log lines? No, but they're really good. And they get at the starting point of where you should be for a log line, which boils down your story to a very simple element. So main tension, the glue that holds your second act together, is really helpful at helping you craft your story, so you got to understand it, but it's also helpful in helping you be able to pitch your story or summarize it for other people. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have, please like, subscribe, bell, all that stuff. Really do appreciate it. In the meantime, happy writing. And if you're going to tell a story that matters. See you later.